Hey, welcome back to Techopolis 3, where in the last video, we completed just about everything that the end has to offer. We got the 2 new metals, the last interdimensional infuser, and set up every mob in the simulation chambers. You might be able to tell that I've done a bit more since last time. I've added a few more simulation chambers, and all of them are running Endermen. Just because I need so many Ender Pearls. And even then, oh, I'm actually keeping up now. Probably because I've caught up on Quantum Alloy. But yeah, I need so many Ender Pearls. I've done a couple other things on my own between videos, mostly general housekeeping and stuff. But I've gone through and I've kind of touched up most of the Technium production lines, because those have had a couple problems with them for a while, and I've left them all to run until they've filled up their backlogs. Also, the netherite production keeps breaking, so I've set this up to quickly fix it. And Hellish Technium is the only one that hasn't filled its backlog yet, but I do have a stack left over in the Quantum Entangle Porter, on the other side of it at least. So I've got about the same amount of all of them. Because I've looked ahead, I've seen the kind of stuff I'm gonna need for Final Technium, and I need a lot of every single Technium, among other things. But that's not the point for this video. The point now is I need to finish End Technium. And the ingot itself really isn't that big of a deal. So I might try passiving most of it today. Because with the exception of the eye blocks, I'm fairly confident I can get everything else done. I might have to do it the same way that I did it on the moon, but if it works, and it makes it a hell of a lot easier. So then, before I can get started with that, I need to make the End Technium machine, and see how this infrastructure fits in. And it looks like the last thing I need for that is Ender Fuel, which needs Ender Ethanol. What do I need for that? I need Chorus Fruit in the Industrial Fermenter, and I'm guessing it is another machine to make the Ender Fuel, but I wasn't expecting that. It's a mixer with Anglesite and Purified Biofuel. I guess I need to do this after all. But anyway, I'll probably set this up in the end. I'm not sure I'll need it anywhere else. And I'm guessing, yeah, the Chorus Fruit could only be grown in the end. So I can just set up a cloche anywhere, really. And I can just let this run and make all the Chorus Fruit that I need. Then I just need an Industrial Fermenter, which doesn't seem to be that bad, so I can get everything I need for it pretty easily, and I can just set it up in the end, right next to the cloche. I think that's it. Yep. Connect it into power, and then the items just go into the side, and it seems to be working. Ooh, it does make it kind of slowly. How much do I need? Oh, 500 millibuckets. But then how much of the Ender Fuel? Ah, there we go. So I do need quite a lot of this. But it might not be that bad. I don't know. The sound is a pain though. So there's that. Now, it's just another tick box. Ender Fuel just needs the mixer. And I'm gonna need to pass in Anglesite and Purified Biofuel. There's just the question of how. I'll make the mixer first and go from there, because the mixer doesn't seem to be that bad. And I'll just build this up right next to the Industrial Fermenter. There we go. And I should be able to just pass it straight through. Yep, that's already full of Ender Ethanol. Right. So, how do I pass in the Anglesite and Purified Biofuel? I think I might be able to do it through the ME system. I'm probably going to have to do that for the Anglesite, just so I don't have to make all the ore processing again in the end. But of course, if I'm doing anything with the ME system in the end, I need to actually bring the ME system to the end. So I need another quantum link chamber. They're not super expensive, but it is still going to take a while. And it's mostly just because I need 16 energy cells. They're not the most expensive thing here. The cables are quite a lot, and the processors are a pain. But everything else I've already got a passive production for, so I don't really care so much. Anyway, that's everything I need for the 2 quantum rings. I just need the link in the middle. So I'll just come down here to shatter another singularity. Then I can probably put the chamber back here. That's not a great sign. Nope. I'll need to put it back one block. But I'll stick in the end link, connect in the cable. I should have enough channels. Then I can build up another link in the end, chuck on a wireless access point for reference, and yep, there we go. Now I've got the ME system in here. And for now, the most I need it for is just a storage bus on these dimensional ores, so that I can set up a recipe to make anglesite. But the pattern providers are full. 1 second. I just need to make a few more extended pattern providers, and upgrade these that need it. Okay, now I can get anglesite. So then with an export bus, I can do that, but I still need to do the purified biofuel. And that I might be able to make in here. I need a solidifier, a tank, a crusher, and a water purifier. Oh, and probably another cloche on pumpkins. So then I'll have the cloche down here, feeding into a crusher to make biofuel. Then that can auto-export into the solidifier, which then also gets some purifying water, and then just sends it into the mixer. I need to connect it all in, and I can speed it along a bit, and there we go, now it's making the ender fuel. Right. It doesn't make the purified biofuel super quickly, but that's a reasonable pace. And it probably makes it faster than I get anglesite, so I don't think I really care. I do need to connect this into power though. So that's molten ender fuel just making itself. And so that should be the last step before I make the end Technium machine. So what am I gonna need for this? A lot of things. Immediately I can see I'm gonna have to kill the dragon another time. Probably 2 more times to get the 2 extra heads. I need to get a couple more chorus flowers, but that's not so bad. Nether star blocks, that's nothing. Same with the end stone. End stone bricks probably the same. Purple, I don't... Oh no, I can craft it with popped chorus fruit, so that's not a problem. I need an ender crafter, ender star blocks, and then a bunch of usual machine stuff. So it's a bit of an intimidating multi-block, but it's not that bad. I can probably do this quite quickly. I may as well set the reinforced machine casings going now. So how many do I need? 105? That's pretty easy. I also need a bunch more quantum entangled porters, but they're not such a big deal either. So then, while I wait for it to go through, I'll just work down the line of all the extra stuff. Starting with the control block. And I think I'll use this opportunity to set up the processing recipes, because I'm gonna need it. For now I only need 6, but I'm eventually gonna need a lot more. So there's the machine controller. What else do I need to make? Endstone and endstone bricks shouldn't be a problem. I've got a lot. So there's that. Nether star blocks. Might not be that difficult. Oh, I need to make them in the compactor. That's not so bad. Next, I guess I can do purple. I just need to smelt chorus fruit to get the purple blocks. And I can just stone cutter them into pillars. Then, yeah, I can get the chorus flowers. I just need to hijack some endermite predictions. Then, I don't think there's any easy ones left. I guess I'll go for the enhanced ender ingot blocks. It's very expensive. And I guess I need ender stars along the way. And a lot of enderium. This is probably the most expensive block I have to do, actually. I do have a few spare things, but really not enough to do anything of note. I did get myself a lot of spare enderium, though. I've got plenty of spare ender pearls to make the ender stars. But how much of this do I need? I need 144 ingots. So then that's 144 enderium, 144 ender ingots. Divided by 4, 36 ender star blocks. That's a lot. And I also need ender star blocks for the Technium machine, so that's another 9. So I need 45 ender star blocks. That's about 400 ender stars. Oh god. I'll get back to that. I'm just gonna make all the ender ingots I need first. Although, annoyingly, to get the ender ingots, I need about a stack of Enderium blocks. Because the conversion rate is terrible. It's also gonna need 9 stacks of Iridium ingots, and that's gonna take a long time to go through. Is there anything else that I can do in the meantime? Endercrafter? That's not too bad. I'm gonna have to steal a bit of Anglesite, but otherwise I pretty much have everything spare. So then it's just the 4 dragon heads and the dragon egg. I've got 2 dragon heads, and I'm gonna have to kill the dragon again to get the egg anyway, so why not kill it twice? It shouldn't be so bad. I'm probably gonna spend most of the time waiting for it to respawn anyway, because once it does spawn in, I just get it once. And there we go. There's 1 dragon egg, and then I spawn the second one to get the last head that I need, and an extra egg doesn't hurt. And in that time, I've only gotten about half of the iridium, so I'll just speed it up a bit. And then I'm also just gonna have to wait for it to go through the interdimensional infuser forever, so I'll speed that up too. And hopefully this is enough ender ingots? Yes. I've still got a couple spare. So, now for the 400 end stars. Just looking at that, that's so much. I need 4 times as many Eyes of Ender as this. But I don't have enough Ender Pearls. Well, I found a solution for that. And then I need half as many out of Blaze Rods. And I need to turn all of this into Blaze Powder. Oh, this is gonna take forever. You know what? I should have just made a recipe out of this in the first place. Okay, that is a lot of stuff. Now I need to put all of it through the Endercrafter. And this is probably gonna take a long time. So I'm gonna make it as fast as possible. Okay, 6 stacks of Ender Stars later, I now finally have enough stuff. So 1 more final craft, and that gets me all of the enhanced ender ingots I need for the blocks to finish off the end Technium machine. Jesus, this is expensive. And I've gone through... I still have a decent amount of time left in the bottle, but I went through about 10 hours just doing that. So, now to actually build up the structure. And I need to keep in mind that it has to be at the right Y level. I guess I'll put it at 130. So then this is going very high up. Why they decided it has to be this high, I don't know. But that is going to make it kind of annoying to deal with. If I had known in advance that I had to build everything so high, I probably would have built everything up here in the first place. Anyway, the machine itself shouldn't be too bad. The frame is mostly the same. It does just have this weird middle bit, and that's where I put the end stone and the chorus flowers. I guess I can start building up some of this internal structure. The purpur and the end stone is pretty normal, but this is where it starts getting a bit hard to see. Aha, it does go how I thought it would. So that should be the machine. Now just comes the question of getting all of the stuff into it. And because of this distance, there's no way I'm piping that far. So I'm just going to have to send everything through this Fluix cable. I need iridium gears, end stone, end rods, phantom membranes, lunar technium, anglesite, ender star blocks, shulker plates, and eye blocks. And I guess as well as that, there's the ender fuel and the dragon's breath, but then the power and the heat I might be able to do differently. Power I can just do with a quantum entangle porter. That's pretty standard at this point. And then for the heat, just pass in another resistive heater. Now, all I should need to do is create some kind of a recipe to make all of this, and that should be Technium done. I've already got 5 different things, and I can probably add a 6th one very easily. If I connect a storage bus into this ender fuel, then that's slowly going in. I make this mistake every time that I need to put in a few acceleration cards. There we go, that's much better. What else can I do here? Dragon's Breath? Just put that in a chemical oxidizer. And it's probably easier that I just do it this way. That works reasonably well. Then I'll put some upgrades in, and I can output it straight over. And that's the Dragon's Breath out of the way. Right then, I can probably get shulker plates quite easily. They're literally just shulker pearls on a metal press, so that should be fine. And then the end rods are pretty cheap, but I do just need to connect a storage bus into the chorus fruit. So now that's 2 extra slots done very easily. I have slowed down on the ender fuel though. I'm not sure why. Ah, I think that's why. I figured it would automatically filter the output, but I guess not. Although it doesn't seem to be putting any more in. If it breaks again, I'll fix it, but it looks like it might be fine. Well, anyway, there's only 2 things left for me to do before end Technium is fully passive. And to be honest, I was expecting these to be the only 2 things of note in the entire video, but the machine itself ended up being a lot more expensive than I thought. So I might not be able to finish both of these, but in theory, they're not that bad. They're just really big. The Ender Star blocks, that's expensive, but probably not that big of a deal. I've already got the Ender Crafter here. I guess something that I want to try is, I want to add more Ender Alternators in, but does the End Crafter have to be on the same level? Because if it doesn't, that massively simplifies things. Because then I can just stick a pattern provider on the side, give it a recipe for Ender Stars, and then if I save this recipe, maybe it'll remember it so that the pattern provider works. It still takes a while for it to craft, so I'm gonna want to get a lot more Ender Alternators, but still, I just want to see if this works. It's automatically decided it's making 16 Ender Star blocks, which, fine, but even though it has what it needs, doesn't seem to be importing it. Okay, does it need to be on the top? No, that doesn't seem to change anything. What if I throw in a hopper? It puts the items in the hopper alright, but not into the Ender Crafter. That makes this very difficult. I know that it crafts, I just saw it happen, but now I need to solve the problem of putting the items in. Does the hopper go on the top? No. If it's already got an item in the slot? No. If it's already got a recipe in the slot? It's crafting, but it's not filling the rest of it. Oh. Oh, I have to select the recipe. Okay. I probably don't need a hopper anymore then. But the pattern provider doesn't place straight in. Interesting. It has to be a hopper. Weird. Well then, as far as extraction goes, please tell me this works. I'll speed this up a bit. Okay, good. The logistical transporter can extract. Well, that was a bit more work than I thought it would be, but that's the automation for the Ender Crafter. And I doubt it'll be too different for the Flux Crafter. However, just by the way that the recipe selection works, I don't think I can have all 3 recipes per crafter. I'm gonna have to have a crafter per recipe. And that's gonna make this very difficult. Or I guess less difficult, more just expensive. Because if I take a look here, that's 16 different eyes. So 16 different flux crafters. Oh, and that's gonna be a... maybe it's not 16 extra channels, because I can probably just do some logistical sorting. But still, that's a lot. And flux crafters aren't cheap. I guess one thing that I can't test so much with the ender crafting that I would be able to test with the flux crafting is whether alternators work for multiple crafters at a time. Because if I need to make 8 alternators for every crafter, that's way, way too expensive. But if each alternator can handle, I don't know, 8 different crafters, that's suddenly a lot easier to manage. I don't know, I just need to test it. So, I need to make another 15 flux crafters. I don't think I've got enough lunar technium for that. I had 2 stacks at the start of this video. 1 stack is in the end Technium machine. I think that might barely be enough. I need 75? Yeah. And then, I guess I'll turn everything else into the alternators. Well then, let's see what I can get away with here. How much elite technium have I got? Not much there, but I've got plenty in the machine. I need more lunar than anything else, so a stack of elite should be fine. Then I need to get myself a lot of crafting tables, and I need to turn all of them into crafters, and then I need to convert all of these into tier 3s, and then hopefully I've got enough to make all of the flux crafters. I've got a reasonable amount of spare lunar technium, and yes, I do have enough elite technium. How many more alternators can I make? 28. It'll have to do. Well, I don't have the space to do it here, so I'm gonna move this over to the end. There's a reasonable amount of space here, and I might have enough stuff here? I really don't know. With the initial design that I thought of, this isn't gonna work. Can I interweave a bit? I think so. One thing I'll try doing, it simplifies the wiring a little bit. If I remove the alternator underneath each crafter, and then I can place some spare alternators around the outside. I mean, this works, but I don't really like it. I feel like it's gonna make the logistics a bit too difficult. Ooh, I can afford to go back to this, I guess, 2x2 approach, but I can't do that outer layer. I do still have 2 spare flux alternators though. Not sure where to put them. Okay, if I remove some of these, I guess, inner corners, I can extend it a bit. There's still some gaps, but I think this is just what I'm gonna go with. It works. I can fill in these extra bits when I get more lunar technium. Well, I guess now comes the annoying logistics. I need to get an extended pattern provider, because a normal one only has 9 slots, so I need more. I also need a logistical sorter. 1 is probably enough. Then, I think what I'll need to do, the pattern provider goes into the chest, which will logistically sort between all 16 flux crafters. I guess I can just do whatever color cable goes to whatever colored eye. Okay, that's just the basics of the logistics. The annoying part is now I have to both remake every eye and then save every single recipe. And put those items into the logistical sorter under the right colors. And you know what? I don't have the time to do that right now. It's gonna get cut out of the video anyway, so I'm just gonna do it on my own. But then, in theory, that should be enough to make all of the eyes. I just need to make all the different recipes. Oh! And actually, yeah, all of them use 4 dyes. Oh, I need a mass-produced dye base. Okay. The dye base blueprint is pretty cheap. I've got a bunch of basic research. I can make some more. And I'll just make a bunch of extra dye base blueprints. 6 should be fine. I'll make 7. Because I've got my current to be an 8th. Then I need to make a ton of research crafters. They're not super expensive. They might take a little while to go through though. And then, I guess this can be another thing that I do in the end. I can set up something like this. It constantly makes clay, sends it into 8 different researchers, all running the dye base blueprint. They're just constantly pumping out dye base to go into here, and I should just have enough dye base to do whatever I want with. Probably should have set up something like this when I unlocked it, because dyes are a very useful thing to have access to, but I have it now. So now I can actually make the recipe for all of these eyes without worry. It's just dawning on me, how difficult it's going to be to get a lot of these metals. Oh god, I don't have the thing for mass-producing replica anymore. I'll get back to that. There's too many other things for me to think about right now. For the most part, this is a simple case of just going through and making a recipe for everything. I need to make an automatic intro. I can probably set up something with the budding, but they can't be flawless. Ironically, some of the ones that I thought would be extremely difficult, I've actually already set up things for. And some of the ones that I took for granted are gonna require a lot more than I thought. Also, I really hope I have enough space to fit all of these dyes and things. I don't think so. Hang on. I need to extend some more pattern providers. And now I can fit the recipe for all of these eyes. I guess the last step before I can call this technically done is I need a thing that actually makes the eye blocks. So for that I need an ultimate auto crafting table. It uses a lot of crafters, but I think I'm beyond that point. I've already made 15 of these, I can make another 8. So there we go, an ultimate auto crafting table. Then I just need to connect it up, make a recipe, and maybe this'll work. Oh god, I need to do the pattern saving again. Let me see, if I queue up a recipe... I can almost do it. I just need 36 magentite. I forgot to connect this via a storage bus. There we go. So if I set this going, it should craft a lot of everything, and then eventually send everything into here. It's not going to go any further than that, because this isn't set up at all. So, I guess that's the only thing left for me to do, but I don't have any time left to record anymore. So, I'm going to have to do this on my own some other time. But in theory, it should now be able to mass produce eye blocks. It sends all of these into all of the different flux crafters. They then create the different eyes, send the eyes back into the ME system to turn into an eye block, and then get sent into the end Technium machine to be the last item left to make the end Technium itself. I was hoping to be able to see an end Technium be crafted, but that's a couple hours off, and I don't have the time for it right now. But either way, I feel safe in saying that I have completed end Technium, even if I won't have it until next video. But I guarantee, start of next video, I will have at least one ingot to show. Possibly more, I don't know. Depends how fast the eye crafting is. But then next time, we're gonna have to start getting into preparations for final Technium. And this is a lot. I've been looking through this for a while now, trying to compartmentalize all the stuff that needs doing, and it's a lot. But it's all stuff to get into next time. Well then, I'm pretty proud of this progress, and I don't think I have anything else to say, so I'm gonna call the video here. Bye.